Hello, I'm Joey Haskins, and welcome back to You've Never Seen, in which I showcase a movie you've probably never seen before. We're reaching the end of the world tour with our next stop in Senegal, with the first film by Ousmane Sembene, Black Girl. Black Girl is actually a French-Senegalese film, as the French language is the primary one spoken in the film. It's also about as French New Wave as you could possibly get, but it is purely made from the uniquely Senegalese perspective. The film chronicles the life of a Senegalese girl named Douana, who desperately tries to become a maid for a rich French family, eventually being hired and was so good that she was brought to work in their home in France. It's only there and away from her family and her home does she feel truly alone, forced to work all day and unable to go out into the world, feeling shackled in this tiny house and having to deal with the various counts of abuse from her employers. Black Girl is a film with many things going for it and a lot to read into it. As I stated before, although the film is primarily in French, its roots and spirit is purely in the Senegalese experience. The themes and motifs of the film can all be traced back to an African mask that Douana is constantly in close proximity with. This mask has been on her journeys with her from Senegal to France, originally given as a gift to her new employers when she first started. And these employers put the mask with other African trinkets they owned in Senegal. However, when Douana moves to France, the mask she gave is the only piece of her home there, showing even more her isolation. Douana, over the course of the movie, slowly loses her sense of self as she's treated less and less like a human. The mask symbolizes the last piece of her home that she has. She's unable to develop herself and her experiences, and her employers don't let her. On top of the horrible abuse she receives from them, they keep her locked up like a pet and parade her out for their guests, since she is, in their country, a novelty. The care that she thought her employers had in Senegal completely disappeared while in France. It represents Europe's chokehold on Africa for years during the 20th century. Douana, throughout the movie, quickly realizes the true nature of her employers and starts to barely even speak to them. In one particular scene, Douana receives a letter from her mother asking her how she is because she doesn't write. And I don't mean she doesn't write to them often, I mean she can't write, period. She was never taught. So her employers offer to write a letter for her, stating that Douana is happy there. This blatant lie enrages Douana even further. There are multiple moments where her employers could at least show a little courtesy towards her, but they never do. In fact, they get harsher and harsher the more she ignores them, and they can't figure out why. They have such an apparent disregard for how she feels that they treat her like garbage, much how Europe did for years. And when the Africans began to fight for their independence, the Europeans resisted and tried even more to tighten their grip. But as history has told, the Africans, in particular Senegal, won. Something similar does happen in the film, once again in regards to the mask. Douana tries to take it back because she's the one who bought it, but her employers fight her at all costs, with Douana eventually winning. Her employers are still unfeeling towards Douana and still think she's only a servant. Even when they try to make it right, they are scoffed at because it's their fault. They kept Douana stuck in their prison. Which leads me to one aspect about this movie that I really like, its color. The film is in black and white, but those two simple colors can provide excellent theming. Douana's employers' house in France is pretty much completely white. In fact, it seems most of what we see of France is white. So naturally, Douana does stick out, once again playing into that isolation, as she is a black girl, alone, surrounded by white. Black Girl is by far the shortest film we've covered on the show, clocking in at just under an hour, but it speaks loud and proud of what it means. And what it means is that although the Europeans will not give a second thought to their occupation of Africa, the Africans won't forget, and the future will watch what they do from here on out. The times will change and people will see that they were wrong, but the Africans will stand tall, united by their common experiences, and be happy with their own identity. The movie, although a very sad movie, does end rather bittersweet with that message, and Sembene managed to make a memorable and beautiful film that, although it was poorly received when it came out in 1966, is now highly respected by many. Black Girl is available to stream on Max, or you can check it out at your local library. We'll cover France outright in a few weeks, but next week, in the penultimate episode of the World Tour series, we head west to South Korea. With Weston Media Center, I'm Joey Haskins, and I'll see you all next time.